It was the year 2017. Universal Studios' Islands of Adventure announced that their marquee Sword of Dueling inverted roller coaster, Dragon Challenge, would be closing forever on September 4th. The ride took up a large chunk of land, begging the question of what kind of attraction would replace these roller coasters, and also could it measure up to expectations. Being located inside the Harry Potter section of the park, it was assumed that this new attraction would revolve around the popular franchise. Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure was officially announced in 2018, and the attraction opened to the public in June of 2019. The roller coaster consists of 5,053 feet of track, stands 65 feet tall, reaches a max speed of 50 miles per hour, and features a total of 7 launches. Hagrid's is also the most expensive roller coaster ever built, at $300 million. Before I continue on with this review, please note I will be discussing all aspects of the ride, so yes, spoilers beware. Presentation. Well, with a hefty price tag of a few $100 million, one would only assume that the theming would be outstanding. Universal did not disappoint in this department. The immersive experience starts inside the queue as you weave your way through the repurposed castle that housed the station of Dueling Dragons. There is a lot of detail to look at and admire. The trains are designed to look like motorbikes with an attached sidecar. The ride takes place weaving through a rundown castle structure, around Hagrid's workshop or whatever it is, and through the Forbidden Forest. The theming is top-notch, fully immersive from the ride entrance right through the exit. There are even unique scents dispersed throughout the ride that really pull you into the attraction. Harry Potter fans will find a lot of details to enjoy, but even if you know nothing about this franchise, there is still plenty of things to enjoy. Hagrid's earns a perfect 10 score in presentation. Ride intensity. Many seem to complain that Hagrid's isn't a super intense roller coaster like the former Dueling Dragons. If you are looking for intensity, check out Incredible Hulk or Velocicoaster. Hagrid's is more or less a family coaster focusing on the immersive experience. After pulling out of the station, Hagrid's hits the first launch that gets you moving. The ride does an S-bend before coming to the second launch. After a couple turns, the ride enters inside a barn-like structure where we see a blast-ended shroot, which I think that's how you say it anyways, but they look super weird. The train crawls onto the next launch that will send you through the archway of the castle. After a couple more turns, the roller coaster comes to the fourth launch of the ride. This launch has a little bit more bite to it and sends you deeper into the forest. After passing Fluffy, the three-headed dog, the coaster enters the switch track. The fifth launch will send you down through a small tunnel that immediately shoots you right back up into a near vertical spike. The train stalls out and rolls backwards through the switch track, then hits the sixth launch, which propels you inside a cave. The coaster gets all tangled up in the Devil's Snare, a plant of sort, before free-falling 17 feet. The train then rolls out of the cave and hits the seventh and final launch. This is the fastest part of the ride, accelerating you to 50 miles per hour. After a couple turns, the roller coaster hits the brakes and rolls back into the station. As I said already, this is more like a family coaster, so the ride never really pushes the envelope. With that said, this roller coaster isn't completely tame. You have that free fall track, backwards portion, near vertical spike, 7 launches that range in intensity, and some of those turns produce some good laterals. I think Hagrid's earns a 6 score for ride intensity. Fun factor. Harry Potter fans, this is obviously a 10 score. Non-fans, this is still a 10 score because the ride experience is that good. Hagrid's is an engaging ride that is full of exciting moments and elements. As I said, none of the elements really push the bar, but they're all still fun moments. To enhance your ride experience even more, take your ride on this roller coaster at night. This was by far my favorite roller coaster in the park at night. I love the headlights on the motorbikes, and the forest is that more exciting in the dark. Before we move on to our next category, let's talk ride capacity. Each train holds a total of 14 riders. With the single rider line and continuous moving station, Hagrid's is able to dispatch every train at its max capacity. There are a total of 7 trains in operation. According to my data, a train was dispatching about every 35 seconds, meaning it can send about 102 trains an hour. That gives us a total ride capacity of 1,428 riders an hour. It's not as good as the other major coasters in the park, but it seems to keep up with the demand. With a full queue, like when the line starts right at the entrance, I was able to get on in under 90 minutes. When the roller coaster first opened, Hagrid's had a lot of downtime. I'm not sure if all of the ride's issues have been resolved, but during my 3-day visit, the coaster was running very efficient with minimal downtime. Originality. Hagrid's is sort of like a best of compilation. We have the 7 launches, which is the most of any roller coaster, a stall-out element with a fast-moving switch track. Most roller coasters have to pause during a switch track element, but not on Hagrid's. The freefall element is nothing new, but still fun and feels original for most guests. The ride is cutting-edge technology, proving that Intamin is still willing to try new and exciting things. I'm giving Hagrid's another perfect 10, this time for originality. Ride Smoothness. This is a butter-smooth ride. I have no complaints in this department. Now, the trains. The motorbike side is more accommodating. My second ride, I sat in the sidecar, but realized I was almost too tall for it. I had to cross my legs to fit, so keep that in mind, taller guests. With that said, I'm not going to hold that aspect against the ride, meaning Smoothness gets a 10 score. Alright, the final score comes to 9.2, which is an excellent score. Coaster enthusiasts might have hoped for something more intense, but that was never the intention of Hagrid's. For the final time, this is a family attraction. They are aiming for a larger demographic. The coaster is great enough without being super intense. In fact, I could see why some would prefer this roller coaster to Velocicoaster. It all comes down to preference. Those who love a fully immersive ride will love this roller coaster. My personal score is also going to be a 10. I am happy with Hagrid's being a replacement of Dueling Dragons. I mean, if that coaster couldn't duel anymore, then tear it down. Hagrid's is a fun ride that has great elements and surprising moments. Also, it's a long ride, so you feel like it's worth it to wait over 2 hours to ride it. I hope that Intamin decides to build more of these family-style launching roller coasters. If Cedar Fair is willing to work with Intamin again, I say replace Cedar Creek Mine Ride with a coaster like this. Well, that wraps up today's review. What do you think of Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure? Is it a good ride or overrated? I want to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please click on the like button and subscribe. That way you continue to get more great content brought to you by X Scream Thrills.